A lot of people assume that more theologically orthodox and conservative and devout Christians just can't enjoy anything, that suddenly pretty much everything is off the table that isn't the most squeaky clean PG-13 experience. Like no bloodshed, no anything, no conflict, no resolution. Everything has to be completely bland. But that's pretty ridiculous. Most of those Christians do have varying limits, but will still play things like war games or watch shows with some levels of violence in them. It just depends on the person how far they're willing to go, because ultimately their conscience is what's kind of dictating what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to consume. But what is certain is that there's a lot of very common limits that cause people to struggle a lot. For example, using the Lord's name in vain. It's extremely common and even considered one of the most mild forms of swears. Most people don't consider that a swear, at least in some ways. But to devout Christians, that is the biggest mistake that you can make with just common speech. It is a terrible form of blasphemy. Yet, in a lot of shows, in a lot of games, in a lot of media, a lot of entertainment, that is constantly there. And while some people might be able to tolerate that being present, even if they condemn it, a lot of people will not feel comfortable with that, and it'll ruin the experience entirely. Even if they don't think that there's anything completely objectively wrong with watching it, they're definitely gonna feel wrong. They're gonna feel grossed out, and it's gonna ruin the entire experience. And then, of course, a lot of people just are not going to accept that. So, how is it dealt with? Well, you can't really force everybody to stop. The only thing that you really can do is try and make alternatives. More Christians need to step up and make good content, good entertainment, and good media in general for Christians to consume that doesn't have these things, that doesn't try and glorify something like sex or drug use or, again, taking the name of the Lord in vain. Unfortunately, I don't see that a lot. Entertainment is kind of dominated, utterly dominated by the secular world, but hopefully that can change. Because it definitely is frustrating to think I would love to watch some entertainment, casual entertainment, to keep me from doing other things, to kind of refresh me a little bit, and occupy my time healthily. But I also don't want to be getting thrown with sexual innuendos and all sorts of crude language that is completely inappropriate, like taking the name of the Lord in vain. I honestly do want to get into the entertainment sphere. I have a handful of ideas in mind of what I want to do, but it's gonna be a while because I need to brush up on a lot of my skills. I need to brush up on art, I need to brush up on coding if I want to do something like make a video game. And I think more people need to be willing to branch out into these spheres, even if it's just as a little bit of an experiment. Because maybe that experiment that's on the side could go somewhere one day. And then, in this world, we can have another form of entertainment and media that is good and acceptable to the Christian audience. Again, it's pretty frustrating. If you want to avoid a lot of sexual language, innuendos, or disrespect towards God, or taking the name of the Lord in vain, more specifically, it's going to take you a lot of effort just to find content that fits like that, that isn't just simply kids' content. Because that's the thing. Sure, you have a lot of content that's safe for kids, but adults want something more mature that also doesn't go into those same steps of pushing the line and going too far. Adults want something that isn't going to tempt them with sexual language or sceneries. Something that isn't going to encourage anyone around them to get into drugs or something incredibly unhealthy. They want something that they can consume for entertainment that is mature and sometimes even has elements of things like violence as long as it's not glorified, but doesn't go too far and it doesn't violate their conscience. And again, that is extremely hard to find sometimes, especially if you're going online specifically. I mean, if you look on YouTube, like a lot of the gaming channels are going to have this incredibly crude language. And just, it's a problem all over the place. Mainstream Hollywood, movies, all of it. All of it's got that issue. And this isn't a non-issue either. I think a lot of people will probably be quick to dismiss it as, oh, well, it doesn't matter. You don't need in that entertainment. You can just abstain entirely from all forms of entertainment if you have nothing good to watch. Okay, sure. That's not a solution, though. Because everybody needs to consume some sort of entertainment eventually. And if you let entertainment be dominated by these evil forces, then guess what influences the culture the most? That same entertainment and those evil forces. If you think something's evil, then replace the evil. Seek to replace it. Don't just passively sit there and let it rot everything around you. No. Make what they're making, but purify it. That's what we should be seeking to do, instead of just seeking to run away and act like that this suddenly condemns the idea of entertainment as a whole. I think more people, and I said this a couple times, but I really think it, I think more people within the church need to seek out methods of making entertainment, good media, good content to hopefully replace those. But I think I'm just going to get into a very, very arduous loop of repeating myself again and again if I continue on this mind. I might speak more on this in the future, but as of right now, I think that gets across the idea that I'm trying to speak of right now. But yeah, when it comes to the topic of what's considered clean entertainment or consuming entertainment as a whole as a Christian, I'm really curious to hear what you think. Because while I'm curious to hear what people think regardless on pretty much any topic, this one is very dependent on the person to person. Everybody seems to have their own boundaries of what's considered clean to consume. So I'm curious, what do you consider clean to consume? And what do you think about how we can solve the issue of unclean entertainment? But either way, God bless you and keep you.